discuss economic development here in the county. You know, as Commissioner Leys pointed out last meeting, yes, we need to try everything we can for this county. One thing, you know, when you look at it, and I don't have to tell, you know, everyone in here, obviously, you know, we're in a tough economic, you know, times, you know, across the nation, our state, and in this county. And everyone in every county, every municipality, you know, that you ever hear of at some point along the way talks about economic development and their plan and, you know, what they can do to bring jobs to the county. You know, I have some thoughts on it, and obviously it may, you know, differ than, you know, some of your other, you know, opinions, and that's why I wanted to put on here really an open discussion. And I think we probably need to look at it, you know, as we go, and the county manager handed out a packet of the, you know, plans in the past. Believe it or not, I did read through them. And that and those type of entities, you know, getting a full-blown economic developer here in Alleghany County and spending a bunch of money for a plan, is probably going to tell us about the same thing that's in these plans. One thing to remember, I mean, really is our location here and our accessibility. And I know, I believe, you know, 21 has been, you know, went out to bid now. We're certainly, you know, can't hurt. But we as a county and people, I mean, we need to be constantly looking at this and what we can do as a board sitting here to help foster economic development here in the county. And, you know, I think we've heard it mentioned before that, you know, government doesn't create jobs, which yes, you can hire a bunch of people and put them on a sheriff's department or, you know, put them in as county employees, but that's really not creating economic development. It might put a few people to work, yes, but I think we need to be real supportive of our local businesses and do everything we can basically to get out of their way. Now, I know there's a lot of things that we got to rely on, you know, Washington to do or not do, and Raleigh. And, you know, we need to have a working relationship, you know, with them wherever we can. You know, just on a side note, you know, I will see Senator Suchek Thursday night, and I believe Representative Elmore on, you know, Saturday. So, you know, I do talk to him. Money is very tight in Raleigh. I know in the past we've relied on a lot of grants, and I think a lot of that's going to dry up. Now that's personal opinions, but the state doesn't have money. That was the bottom line. I think we're going to have to really look at the budget process when we get to it. We all toured the high school this week, and certainly there's some needs up there and some opportunities up there that, you know, been neglected for a while, and we need to do what's right and, you know, try to come up with the money for that. Then you can argue, yeah, putting money into education helps with economic development, and it, you know, does to a point. But one thing here in Wilkes Community College and what goes on there, and certainly what Clark does at the BDC, you know, is great, but we need to try to, in my opinion anyway, stimulate our local economy, basically, and I'm going to say, by getting out of the way. You know, the last two budgets, we've increased taxes as the town has. And every time we do that, that puts a burden on, you know, the local businesses. Because not only their homes are taxed at a higher rate, but their business and their business personal goes up. So basically, you're almost like taxing those people twice. Certainly some things were needed, and, you know, maybe some things weren't. You know, we could argue about that probably half the night, which we've been here a while and don't really want to argue all night. But and, you know, I've got facts and numbers here, you know, to go through and look at, and, you know, certainly when you look at it, there's not a lot of encouraging news. I mean, our unemployment rate is higher than the state and certainly higher than the nation. You know, if you want to get down to it, I mean, birth rates in Alleghany County are declining and death rates are increasing. So I guess if you said, you know, if we have no economic development plan, eventually everyone's going to die out and everything will be fine, right? But It's certainly something that needs to stay on the forefront. I think we need to work with the resources we have. Like I said, you know, Clark's back here with the BDC. Alleghany, was it ACDC, Alleghany County Development Corporation? We need to work with them wherever possible. Do I have all the answers? No. One of the things I'd like to do again, and I'll mention that again, is when we get into the budget discussion this year, I mean, I think we need to take a tough look at that, and not only look at it from the perspective of just the homeowners and the taxpayers in Alleghany County, but our business, people as well, because what I'm getting down to, they're basically going to be our employers in this county. I'd love to say we're going to have a firearms manufacturer come in here and put 600 people to work, but realistically, is that going to happen? Probably not, but you never stop hoping, and we need to look at it. One thing there, though, we really don't have a facility anymore. We don't have a business park. Do you go into, and I think that was in one of the plans, is to develop a business park, but and at any time, I mean, like I said, open discussions, so, jump in and tell me I've talked long enough and you're tired of hearing me and you want to take a break or whatever, but it certainly is gonna, and I did, and I hate again that I missed the meeting the other night when you went through it, and yes, going through and, greenways, bike plans, renovating downtown. I know the SRC, works on that, and certainly all that helps when you can improve a county's or town's image, but that's, not the silver bullet. I think it's going to be tough, and unfortunately, we're going to have some, tough times. We're going to have to make some tough decisions as we come up, and and I'll be happy, like I said, to bring forward whatever I can to Raleigh, but, knowing that probably the funding is pretty tight. I actually had a meeting, which she doesn't cover our area, Senator Randleman, which covers Wilkes, Stokes, and Surrey. But yes, there's no money. She sits on one of the finance committees, so, I don't want to bring you bad news like that, but, I wish I could tell you there's, 12 firearms manufacturers coming, and we're going to put everybody to work, but that's basically it. And did I lull you to sleep, or?
No.
Okay.
That's some good thoughts.
But again, I think we need to probably keep it, or at least have an open dialogue somewhere along there. And anytime you have any thoughts, ideas, I mean, Commissioner Smith calls me from time to time, and I certainly don't yell at you too much when you call, do I? I didn't think so. But, and anything, like I said, if you want something brought forward to our legislators in Raleigh, I'd be certainly happy to do that. Not that you can't. I mean, obviously, yeah, you can contact their office at any time. And I would like to see, though, I think we need to, because we talked about it a little bit before, but, maybe get Clark and Don, some people more involved, and, some of the local businesses and business owners, and, Susan, and, your dad, and to come up with some plan, what we can do, and, the SRC with, Frank, and, I guess the vice chair stuff. And see, what direction, I guess, as a community, and certainly it's going to involve the town of Sparta too, because what's great for, or works for Sparta, works for Alleghany County. And, I hate we lost the fair, but, sitting on the fairgrounds committee now, and I think there's a lot of good events going on out there, and we need to promote this and area as much as we can, but I don't think tourism is that silver bullet either. I mean, yes, it certainly helps, but again, you got to keep in mind the economy, and, there's probably less and less people travel. I'll be quiet now.
Good. Thank you. Anybody else got some thoughts along those lines?
I want to thank Commissioner Goudreau for bringing this up on the agenda and putting it in front. I appreciate your comments. I can't disagree with anything you said.
And, well, thank you, and like I said, I wish I had positive news that we could do, but I think it's just, we're gonna have to take a realistic approach to who we are and how do we go forward.
true. And it is a fact that our community is declining in population, and
Right.
if we're not growing, we are going backwards. So there is no silver bullet. We have to look at the whole gamut and work together, and it's not just the businesses and individuals, it's us too. This is a powerful board, let's admit it. We can do some things that don't even cost money, just collaboration. I've been looking at some business magazines, and it hit me, the advertising that you see that is advertising, it's luring the retirees, and they're advertising exactly what we have right here. I just had to laugh when I read some of these things. It said they offer a variety of recreation, and including golf and water sports. Well, we have that. It offers, they lure people by a healthy community ranking. We have initiatives to do that. We have lots of things going on for us. The community that lures the retirees, and we are that community. We have that Roaring Gap and Piney Creek communities that, and even Sparta now. Lots of retirees that come here, and they love this community so much. They come for the art and the culture, and they come for our doctors and our hospital. And it's not rocket science. We have this already. We have to figure out how to maintain it, keep it, and make it better. And it doesn't necessarily, is not going to cost the taxpayer. It may just be a collaboration, a cooperation. And one thing that's really been on my mind, and I've been talking with Commissioner Cox and Don Adams, is the internet. And there are lots of initiatives that are in the works, and it's big money and it's big efforts. And I think that it's an equalizer in business. If you don't have to have the interstate right beside you, and our school system is another big draw. Education and the internet are equalizers in business, I do believe. I've seen this statistic in several places in the last week. I was so happy to see this on the agenda. I started researching this, and it said several places, so I think it's pretty well true, that 2 out of every 3 new USA jobs are created by small business currently. It's not the factory that comes in and is the silver bullet. We have lots of advantages right here in this county, resources that we can do that. The Miles Job Fund has collaborated and created almost 100 jobs. And it's not rocket science, it's a collaboration, and it's even a counseling for new business owners that don't have a clue how to run QuickBooks. We can help these people. It's easy. I think that we could promote women in business. I think that's an underutilized group here in the county. Where mountain folks and men have had more opportunities, women have, I think women in the mountains do stand back a little bit more so than people in the urban areas. So I think we could promote women in business some. I think that if we put our heads to it, we could build a strategy, and we don't have to have the fancy folks from Raleigh, but they probably could help us in some areas. We just to set up a monthly meeting with a task force, put our heads together and talk about what we can do. I have faith in our own that we can do it. And I thank you again, Commissioner
think I found a member for our task force sitting on the end of this table, and I'd be happy to, work with you and see what we can do, if that's the pleasure of the board. And to work with, the other groups you mentioned in, your presentation.
This is great, and it's something that needs to continue, I think, in whatever form it kind of works into, and I appreciate both of your comments. I know that, or at least I believe, that government may or may not create jobs. I'm not sure they create jobs, like you say, with our people, but government can, I think, create a climate of encouragement. That's kind of what you're getting at, what Commissioner Leys was getting at. And it's incumbent upon us to do that if we can. Is there any other comments or any thoughts? And I sense that we want to keep this going from time to time.
And I as well see Clark Hunter back here, and I know there are lots of folks on that Economic Development Board that are hardworking and looking at every opportunity, and I appreciate that as well.
Don, do you have any thoughts about how this fits into our planning process as we kind of beginning?
Yeah, where we left off last is basically, I believe this is gonna culminate a little bit at the joint county and town meeting. And basically, I'm gonna come back and report to let this board know what resources are out there to help facilitate this planning process. And, I believe we're talking about in April, between the joint meeting, and I believe the more you as a board have these conversations, the more it'll enable me to go find the resources that we need. And again, we're not always talking about paying somebody $30,000 to come in and do a plan. It's about basically facilitating our existing resources, our people who are already out there, and trying to find people who aren't already involved to get involved and participate and try to come up with a plan and implement it. Hopefully I can come back to you and let you know the resources that are available to help us do that. It will be Clark and ACDC and a lot of the local folks.
Any other thoughts? So we've got some direction here, and I again, appreciate both of you. I brought that up. If there's nothing else, then we do need to go into a closed session regarding legal and personnel. I lost my numbers.
Mr. Chairman, before y'all go, can I announce the 4-H state conference? I'm so proud
Yeah,
of you.
sure.
I done told everybody
One of the first privilege here.
We, as everybody knows, we have 4-H programs in the county. One of the 4-H groups is the 4-H horse group. In the summertime, the young ladies and young men gather in their groups and they ride horses and do events and things of that nature. In the wintertime, they participate in statewide events. One of them is called the Horse Bowl, but it's a quiz bowl. It's where groups of kids get together and they compete against each other about their knowledge about equestrian events and things of that nature. We do have a local team here. A senior team is ages 14 to 19. They did go to regionals a couple weeks ago, qualified for the state. Went to the state this weekend at A&T University and actually won the state competition within Alleghany County. Just for example, I'm just so proud of these young folks. The age group for this was 14 to 19. Our participants were, for the Alleghany County team, were all 14 years old except for one. The young lady turned 15 back in December, and we also had an individual win the state competition as an individual also. So it's something I'm hoping the newspaper, put in the newspaper and get all the young folks' picture in the newspaper, but it's not every day you can say you got state champions within your county, so anyways.
That's great.
Glad you said that. Well, the clerk has graciously handed me the numbers here because I had lost my little Post-it note. So, we need to go into closed session regarding personnel, which is general statute 143-318A3 legal, and same numbers, 143-318A6 personnel. I would entertain a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
Have a motion? Have a second? All in favor, any discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed? Unanimous.